All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Friday, June 13th. We got game number 4 of the NBA Finals to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, I'm going to dive into the game. I'm going to give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to all of my final plays, so I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, it's absolutely free down in the pinned comment. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3, 4. More juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. So in game number 3, we made out all right? We have the under, that one cashes, and then Aaron Nesmith, we did have a half unit on, we'll split a half unit on his points and his threes under. Chet Holmgren's rebounds and Isaiah Hartenstein's rebounds were the ones that did not come through for us there, but ultimately, we're still hanging in there in the playoffs, right? And we've been judging this series fairly well, at least from our pick standpoint. In terms of who we think's been winning the games and whatnot, maybe not so much. But ultimately, nothing to write home about here, but nothing to get super down about either. So let's go ahead and dive into game number 4. Before we do, guys, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button for good luck. It's Friday the 13th. We need a little good juju coming our way and coming your way because we got to battle the spookiness of Friday the 13th, right? So hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Let's dive into it. So right now, Pacers +6. They're getting 6 points at home after winning game number. They're now up on the number 1 team in the league, 2-1 in the NBA Finals. I'll come out and say it. I think the Thunder bounced back in a big way here. I'm tempted to look at the Thunder -6. If this thing was right around -5, -4.5, which is a decent amount off, right? It seems like it's only a 1.5, but that's a pretty big difference. I'd be all over the Thunder. I do think that they bounce back. We've seen them bounce back really well. Their last few losses here in the playoffs, their last couple, we can even say. But the one against Denver, they come back and win by 1 million. Then they beat Minnesota after a loss. It was a close game, though, right? And then when Indiana beat them in game 1, what did the Thunder do in game number 2? Absolutely smacked them. Now, they are in Indiana. I will say that. All of those bounce-back games, actually, no, the Minnesota one was in Minnesota, so I was going to say all of them have been, but the majority of these bounce-back games have been at home. That Minnesota one was not, and it was a close game, right? But ultimately, if you're looking at this, I think these are two even-matched teams, which I'm starting to learn, and I think viewers are starting to learn too, that this is not like the big brother patting the little brother on the head. The Pacers are here, and they're meant to be here. So I do think that the Thunder can take this one, but if you're on the Pacers, more power to you. I've been enjoying the hell out of watching this small market team, the underdog, look like the better team. It's pretty damn crazy. So yeah, I think that these two teams are way more evenly matched than I would have thought, so I can admit that, and I think a lot of people out there. But to me, I do think the Thunder's defense comes through in this one, and I don't mind the idea if we kind of like transition into the total a little bit of the Thunder preventing the Pacers from shooting really well. They shot poorly from 3 last game, right? But the Thunder just kind of like foot off the gas in the 4th quarter, which has been what we're seeing this Indiana Pacers team do to teams throughout these playoffs. But I do think that, they're not going to have another 30-point 4th quarter to close the game. They had, I think, a good closing of the second half and closing of the game. The Thunder should take care of business at least in one of those 2 settings. It's like the most 2 important times of the game to build momentum. The Thunder just went, whoopsies, ole, you know what I mean? I think that their defense shows up a little bit more. So the fact that the Pacers had 2 kind of freebies in those quarters and scored 116, I don't mind the idea if you're kind of transitioning and pivoting to the thought of a Pacers team total under. Yes, Pacers at home, saying the same word under, that's kind of crazy. But so far in this series, Pacers 111 in game 1, 107 in game 2, and then because of the lack thereof of defense from the Thunder to close out the game, just 116 in game number 3. If the Thunder play 48 minutes of defense, which they did all year long, I'm surprised they're not doing it now, we should see a spot in which we could take the Pacers team total under. I think it's 111.5 right now. You can also get under 112.5 if you do so choose. So if you're not comfortable with the Thunder, I would at least say that I think their defense shows up today, and maybe you can look at a Pacers team total under because ultimately the defense is kind of what I would consider the Thunder's true edge, because we've seen that this Pacers offense can keep up with the best of them, especially when they're running and gunning and everything like that. Give me the Thunder and Pacers team total under. In terms of the actual total of the game at 226.5, I would say I want to say that the Thunder kind of do what they did in game 2, right? Which we lean towards the full game over and the Pacers team total under in game 2. I kind of think that again. I think the Thunder can put up like 120-ish, meaning that's going to be pretty damn tough to stay under that 226. But I don't know if the Pacers do their part. And if that's not the case, then obviously we're pretty wrong about everything we're saying here. But I kind of like the idea of over 226, but the Thunder carrying their weight. So maybe this is one of those two ships passing in the nights type of thing. The Thunder going to score a lot of points. I think the Pacers have a little bit harder of a time scoring here in game 4. But ultimately the Thunder weigh it enough to hit the over. I know it's kind of confusing. Let's move on to some player props there. Guys, before we do, if you do want to check out Sleeper Picks, I'll have a link down in the description as well as the pinned comment. You get a Shea free square tonight as a new user. You're also going to get your first deposit matched up to $100. 100% match. You hand them a $100 bill, they're going to say, hey, here's $200 to play with. Go ahead and check it out. There's a ton of promos live on the app already. So yes, I just have the image of Shea here next to me. They have like 4 other promos across all these sports. So tons of promos and discounted lines over on Sleeper right now. If it's available in your state and you have not checked it out yet, do not regret it. Do not miss these spots, especially with the NBA Finals coming to an end at some point pretty soon. Check out Sleeper. That link will be down below in the description as well as the pinned comment. They have so many alternate lines. Their payout structure is really, really cool. Each and every play you throw into your slip changes the payout dynamically, so you never have the same payout unless the multipliers work out to that way, but they don't follow a fixed payout structure like 3 for 3 is 5x, 2 for 2 is 3x, anything like that. It's pretty damn cool. So go ahead and check it out. Link will be down below in the description as well as the pinned comment. All right, first player prop that I want to make note of here. Pascal Siakam, under 20 points. Now, he's been hovering right around this line. He's in this series so far, right? 2 games so far he's gone under. Game number 3, he did go over just with 21. You can get this for -110 over on ProfitX. If you can only get the 19.5 for the -110, I still do not mind that, okay? Or if you want to pay the juice and go over on FanDuel and look at the -146 for the other 20.5, sure. But I do like the idea of this flat 20, just a little bit better odds. You're getting that half point, meaning you get push potential for the same price as the 19.5. If you don't have ProfitX, then that's fine. You could go with the 19.5, right? But anyways, what he did in this game was, 1, shot 57% from the field. On the season, he's obviously a good score because he doesn't take all these threes. He scores closer to the bucket, but he's just around a 50% score from the field, right? Last 10, 49, last 20, 52. As we get closer and closer, 49, 46 has not been shooting all that tremendously. So I don't think we should expect a 57% scoring load from him in this one yet again. Also, free throws. He made 5 free throws. He's done that so far in this series twice, but prior to that, he really wasn't even getting to the line all that much. And his threes, he didn't make any threes. We can kind of hope that that's the same as well. My concern is that if he does go out there and play 32 minutes again, you could see here when he does play, say, 32 minutes, he's going to have some good scoring nights. He's only hit the under in 33% of games so far this year. And at home, it's even, worse. He's kind of gone off. But ultimately, this is kind of meshed in with the approach of what I was talking about, with the idea that this Thunder team should be playing better defense. And how funny is this? This is him when he plays 32 minutes. Every other game he cashes, and the other one he doesn't. So maybe it's a good spot for him to kind of bounce back. He's yet to have 2 games of 20+ over his last 10, and very few over his last, 15 or so. So yeah, I just think that this is going to be a mix of the Thunder making sure that he's not the one that hurts them. I think they know what they'll get out of Halliburton, and Halliburton is good enough that, you give him lemons, he'll make lemonade in a sense. Even if he has a bad game, he'll clutch up when he needs to. But Siakam, I like Siakam, right? We faded him and we've rode with him multiple times. I do think that he's the type of guy that you can kind of predict how he's going to score. He'll get the ball in the wing, either pull up, maybe back you down, and try and get to the hoop. The Thunder should be very good at stopping that, and we have 2 games in seen them be pretty good at stopping that. So if he shoots, his normal 50% from the floor, he wouldn't even have hit this last game. So I like Siakam's under. The next one, we're looking at another under, and this one burned us last time, but it's going to be Chetty Holmgren here, under 8.5 rebounds. On the season, he's at the under in 57% of games. On the road, he has been a little bit better, I will give you that. But ultimately, head-to-head, only averaging 8.6 rebounds per game, and that's with 10 last game. He had 6 and 6 in his games 1 and 2. The rebound chances do worry me. Now, 2 straight games of 17 rebounds, but we have to remember, this is a game that the Thunder lost. They don't necessarily... They're not going to sit there and be like, all right, let's keep the same rotations. If you notice, there was not many Holmgren and Hartenstein lineups out there in game number 3. Well, they lost the game. I don't think that they're going to sit there being like, that one worked for us. I think we might see, both of them in with one another, and that's going to impact Chet Holmgren's rebound chances plenty. So I do think it's a decent spot to fade Holmgren. Look at his under 8.5 yet again. If we get burned by this, then sure, we're an idiot because we've now taken it 2 games in a row. One absolutely lost. He had 10 rebounds. And second one, if he hits it again, it's like, yeah, we made our bed. We might as well lay in it. But I don't mind that, especially if I'm right in predicting the fact that they may go big to some degree to try and attack that paint of the Pacers, which this whole season, the Pacers have been a pretty damn good perimeter defense. That paint is where they're weak. Now, they've been better at it throughout the playoffs, but I do think that, Hartenstein and Holmgren in there might give the Thunder a little bit more access to dominating down low. So that's what we're going to be leaning with and rolling with today, guys. Keep an eye on the final plays. That'll obviously all of that will be down in the pinned comment, taking you to the Guy Boston Sports site, which you'll be able to see all of our final plays, the unit size, as well as the odds that we're getting. If you do want to go ahead and fade me, all of that will be free down in the pinned comment. So make sure to go ahead and check that out. Do appreciate you tuning in. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment 11 if you made it this far. Really do appreciate you guys. Catch you in the next one, all right? Peace out.